I would like to welcome you to our online information session on our MFA in Creative Nonfiction Writing program. My name is Kim Adamczyk. I'm an Assistant Director of Graduate Admissions and the Admissions Counselor for this program. In a moment, I'll be handing the presentation over to our faculty member, Kate Hooley. But first, I would like to give you a little information about who we are here at BayPath. BayPath was established in 1897 as a private, not-for-profit institution that has been preparing students for success in a constantly changing world. We have campuses in Longmeadow and East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, as well as our online programs. BayPath's innovative programs offerings include traditional undergraduate degrees for women, the American Women's College, which is an online program, and over 30 graduate programs for women and men, most of which are online. Our graduate and undergraduate student body consists of more than 3,300 students, and our BayPath alumni network spans worldwide with over 21,000 alumni. We are accredited by the New England Commission of Higher Education. BayPath students find supportive and diverse community. Here, we firmly believe that individuals have the right to a safe, accepting, and enriching higher education experience, and we are committed to fostering an environment in which diversity is welcomed and all individuals feel safe and that they belong here. Our faculty and staff foster close relationships with you along the journey, ensuring that you are supported in your educational goals and equipped for success. Students are empowered to become leaders in their careers and communities with an innovative approach to learning that prepares them to flourish in a constantly changing world. Students graduate with an applied knowledge, portable skill set, and confidence to thrive in their professions, identify and realize their dreams while making a lasting difference in the world. Our programs bend to the shape of our students' lives. You work, you have responsibilities at home, and you have your life. Somewhere you want to fit in graduate school because you care about the future. Nights, weekends, or online, we work with you to make all that possible for you. Graduate students are drawn to BayPath because of the quality of education, the accessibility of the faculty and staff, the convenience, the intellectual challenge, and the relevance of the programs to their careers. In the closing of this presentation, we will be sharing the admissions and faculty contacts for this program. If you are interested in receiving copies of these slides, please feel free to email me directly for them, and I will get them right out to you. At this time, I'm happy to welcome Kate Hooley to talk more about the program. Kate is a professor of practice in the MFA program, as well as the editorial director of BayPath's Multiplicity magazine. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you, Kim. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for your time today. So we're looking at a program overview slide for the MFA, and I'll highlight a few of the things here. I know that you can also read the slide, but number one, we do not have a residency requirement for our MFA. That makes us distinctly different from the low res programs that are out there and the full res programs that are out there. I would say our program is as intensive as a full residential program, but your residence occurs online. It's a very robust curriculum. We're really proud of it, and it's really unique out there in MFA land. You can progress through the program on a full-time or part-time basis, and we have 3 professional tracks, one in publishing, one in teaching creative writing, and one in narrative medicine and trauma writing. Those tracks happen for you in your program, usually in your 2nd or 3rd year, depending on how you're progressing. And with the exception of the narrative medicine track, which I'll talk about a little bit later, they are 2 semesters, 2-semester sequence that includes introductory course and followed up by a practicum or internship course. So it's an opportunity in the professional tracks, in all 3 of them, you have an opportunity to work in the field that interests you, whether that be publishing, narrative medicine, or teaching. Our enrollments are rolling. Right now, well, I probably shouldn't say what we're enrolling right now because you may be listening to this at any time, but we enroll in September, January, and May, and that means the classes start then. So our periods of application precede those dates that you see there. Why don't we go to the next slide, Kim? And here we've got some fun pics of some of our folks over there. One of the things that's great about our MFA is pretty much what this first line and second line talks about. We really truly are a dynamic community of talented writers. And when I speak about that, I mean our faculty and our student body. It forms a community. You'll find your peers here, you'll find your mentors here, and it's an amazing community that gets built within the MFA. Our faculty is dedicated, is very concerned about your individual journey. You're not a name, you're not just a number or a name, you're a person here. And that makes us special. Some of the offerings alongside our MFA, we offer a certificate in narrative medicine that harkens back to what I was talking about a couple minutes ago. Alongside the MFA, you can earn a certificate in narrative medicine. It's a 4-course track within the MFA. It's also offered as a standalone certificate. And what that really is about is being able to feel confident going out in the world of medical narrative and helping folks express and deal with trauma through writing. So it's a little bit unique orientation to narrative medicine that focuses on the narrative, whether that be someone who might be recovering from cancer or dealing with a new diagnosis that's troubling, or recovering from trauma, maybe PTSD. We have a lot of students that go through the narrative medicine track that want to work with folks who have experienced difficulty in their lives, and the settings where they may have their practicums, for example, vary from a local library to a local veterans center to a local hospital, all places where folks could benefit from expressing what they're doing in terms of their healing journey and in terms of their trauma through writing. So that's a quick version of the NARMED track. Also, we publish Multiplicity Magazine, a literary journal of the MFA. That is, the next one will be coming out in spring of 2024. And we're going to be incorporating that for the first time into a course within the MFA. So that's pretty exciting. And so if you're listening to this, you might be able to enroll to be a part of our editorial staff for the literary journal. Other courses, we have a wonderful array of elective courses. Some of them are here on the screen. And it's funny, I just was talking to one of my grads from last year, one of my thesis students. So she completed her thesis project, did a lovely job, and graduated in May. And she just emailed me and said, Kate, I never got to take writing about family. She's like, it just didn't fit into my schedule. I always wanted to take it. Can I come back and take it? I was like, you're not the first one who's asked this question. We've had a number of students who just want to take more electives or take them as they're going along. And although financial aid won't pay for that extra elective, if there's something you're really interested in taking, we're certainly not going to deny you, because it is a really, it's a strength of our program that you can dip your toe into these various areas, maybe one that you know you're interested in and another that you are surprised by how fascinating you find it as you learn more about it. So that's another special thing about our program. We could go to the next slide, Kim. And here we have some pictures for you to look at. As mentioned, our classes, or maybe I didn't mention this, we have a small class size by design. We want you to feel as though you are seen And our faculty is right there to make sure that your experience feels like it's tailored to what you need it to be. You'll be working with your peers. In most of our classes, you'll be doing some peer workshopping. It's always guided. And one thing that I think is really important about our MFA is we are a snark-free zone. There are many MFAs out there where the criticism in workshop can feel cutting and uncomfortable. And it's really important to all of us and to our faculty that that never happens here. Our, while we want to grow you as a writer and we want your experience to lead to growth and improvement in your work, we want you always to feel supported and never cut down. So that's something that we really are very, very dedicated to within our workshop environments. Our faculty couldn't be more attentive or responsive. It almost makes me laugh to read that. It's a wonderful group of faculty with a broad range of interests and credentials and books and magazines and all sorts of things to their credit. And they're all here because they really enjoy the teaching experience. And as I mentioned about workshop or any class that you're in, we really want to support you. We want to make sure that every person feels included, um, and that every diverse voice is heard and every diverse narrative is written. We want that. It's really important in our MFA, and we're really proud of the diversity that we have within our program and have had since the start, both in faculty and in the student body. We feel it's essential to the world to hear all the voices, not just some of the voices. And finally, depending on the class you're taking, you might be taking a class that is entirely asynchronous, that's designed that way, and you'll be shocked at the community that can still build. We all were at the beginning, like we all thought, "Ooh, what's this going to be like?" And we found very quickly that we could, because we were designed from the beginning to be online. We understand how to build a community online. We're not retrofitting here. We were designed from the start. So our schedule is flexible. There are classes where we do Zoom sessions. They're pretty much always in the evening or by doodle poll to see when is best for the folks in the class. And we understand that you are working, that you are juggling probably a job, some kind of family responsibilities or home responsibilities, childcare, elder care, any number of other things besides your schoolwork. And so we try to help you fit everything in, and we are very flexible in terms of how you proceed. Some of our students decide to proceed one course at a time, and it takes them longer to get their program completed, but they're better writers because writing takes time. And to be able to give it the time, semester to semester, with all your other responsibilities, that can that can be a way that you might think about approaching it. And we can go to the next slide. Oh, we have a couple of fun slides here. We won't spend too much time here, but I have to spend a little bragging time. So these are some of our recent alums who have books and recent books. Ann Pinkerton on the left, her book just came out this spring, very exciting. In fact, she started that book in my health and wellness class back a number of years. It became her thesis project, and then about 6 years after she finished her thesis, it's published. So that's a good story. Another thesis project, Uncomfortably Numb, by Meredith O'Brien. Um, and Meredith actually teaches in our MFA now. She was one of our early graduates, as was Anne. Leanne Lyles, a new book of short stories. And Leanne is one of our students that was quite at a distance when we think about online learning. She was hailing from Bermuda when she was checking into her classes. And finally, Walks Like a Duck by Kim Livingston, just out this spring. You can read the subtitle. It's a wonderful story, and also began as her thesis project. So these are really exciting. It takes a while to get from thesis to book, and we're just beginning to see that since our MFA started in 2014, and it's just so exciting to see this happening. And I think our next slide is just a quick look at some of our faculty and some of the books that are forthcoming really soon. Susan Ito, her book is a wonderful book about adoption and an adoption journey. Melanie Brooks, a really interesting book about family dynamics. Shanaz, really interesting story of how this began as a travel book and then COVID hit, and so it became something a little bit different because she had to think about not traveling as well as traveling. And finally, Jen Baker's new book, Forgive Me Not, it's coming out next week. Susan's, Melanie's, and Shanaz's book are all coming out in the fall, but Jen's book is publishing August 15th, and it's really interesting. So there's a little glimpse at what our folks are doing when they're not teaching in the MFA. And our classes, just back to that for a second, we use Canvas. It's a really user-friendly online learning platform. I like to tell folks that if you know how to use Facebook and you know how to read a book, chances are you could do both those things. If you're applying for an MFA, you can use Canvas. The concept of posting, meets the concept of a table of contents and working through a book. And it's very, very straightforward. And we do have a new course to give you an orientation so you feel comfortable when you start. That's actually a required course for all students. And there is dedicated support if you need it. But we find not too many people need it actually because it is a really intuitive platform. Do you want to go through this, Kim, or do you want me to go through it?
Thank you, Kate. So admission requirements for our program, we like to keep it as smooth and as simple for you as possible. An undergraduate degree from an accredited college or university is required. We prefer a GPA of a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale in English and writing courses. There is an electronic application free online at graduate@baypath.edu. And then the documentation that's required is all there, official college and university transcripts. We ask for a personal statement of 1 page, kind of outlining what do you want with an MFA and what you will bring to the program as a writer and a learner. And then we ask for 1 10-page writing sample or 2 5-page writing samples, a personal essay or reflective paper, as well as 2 letters of recommendation, and those forms are also available online. Kate, I don't know if you want to elaborate any more on the 10-page writing samples and give any additional information on those.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Kim. So 2 things I would highlight. The personal statement, spend a little time on that. We really want to understand a little bit more about who you are and why an MFA, why now, and not only what you hope to gain from the program, but also what you would bring to our community of writers and learners. And in terms of the writing samples, sometimes we've had folks who are journalists or academic, have done more academic or technical writing, and they don't have a lot of creative samples. We're happy to give you a writing prompt for you to complete your sample if you would like one. And while we'll consider journalistic work, we will typically ask for creative work as well. So that's where the prompt might come in handy. And we're always available. You'll see our emails later on the program. Please feel free to reach out if you're concerned about your sample or want some guidance or would like a prompt. You can reach out directly to me for that if you like, or to Liana. You'll see her email at the end of the slide show here today.
One last thing while we're on the screen, Kate, I really think it's important that we highlight the GPA section and talk a little bit quickly about the English and writing courses over somebody in like history classes that might not have been so successful or math classes, and talk about that for a second, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. We are not going to hold it against you if you were really bad in math. That's probably, we've seen that. We've seen that before. So, we look for that minimum GPA. We're mostly interested in, courses that are going to relate to your creative work in the MFA. And if you're pausing to apply because your, across the board GPA isn't as high, or you have, some courses that you really don't want us to look at, please don't worry about it. We're mostly concerned with your recommendations. We're concerned, with people recommending you that will talk to us about your work ethic and your capacity to get through the program. We're interested in your writing. We're interested in your personal statement. Those are what we're looking at, in our, absolutely the most closest. I'm getting stuck with that sentence, but
Yeah.
we're looking closer at those items than we are, at your particular undergrad GPA. I remember one applicant who's in the program now, and a delight, and she had been, for reasons of, I don't know, probably parental pressure, she had gotten a business degree in undergraduate, and then she went to grad school and got her MBA and was utterly, utterly miserable. And so all her transcripts were all these business courses, and some of which she did really not very well, like statistics, and and it was so clear. And even in her grad school, she somehow managed to like get them to let her take a couple of writing courses, and it was almost hilarious to look at her transcript because it was so clear that this was a person whose talents had been, just sort of squashed. Her interests and her talents had been squashed into fitting this mold that she was now finally free to break out of. And, we talk about the tagline for this program is your time to write. And that is so true for so many of our students. We have a huge range of age in students. We have students that are not very long out of undergraduate, and we have students who will graduate in their 70s with their MFA. It's a wonderful thing that we have such a range. A lot of our students, even the younger ones, are often coming to us because they want to make time to write. They want to make that commitment to their writing that they haven't been able to make before. Sometimes it's been sort of their hidden hobby, or their thing that they were nervous about talking about, or the thing they didn't want to tell their parents was really what they wanted to do. And so they maybe go out and have completely different and very successful careers, because writers are usually pretty smart at whatever they do. And now they want to make some space for their writing. So if that sounds like it might be you, this might be the place for you.
Absolutely. EPATH is very proud of our Student Financial Services Office. They are there with you and provide you access to phone, email, and in-person conversations about your needs. They have information sessions on how to learn how to pay for graduate school, as well as FAFSA Fridays. They also have you have accessibility to live help for filling out your financial aid application. Our graduate students are eligible for up to $20,500 per year in Stafford loans. Specific questions about financial aid, I tell students all the time, go directly to them. There's a lot of sensitive information that goes into your financial aid package, and for completely understandable reasons, they like to address that with you specifically. Their information is on the right-hand side of the screen. At any point you have questions before you've applied, during the application process, or while you're a student, I would not hesitate to reach out to them. They typically get back to you within 2 days and are amazing at working with you and for you as a student. As we mentioned, this is our contact information for the program. Liana James Blackwell, who was not on this information session today, is the program director and the executive editor of Multiplicity Magazine. Kate was here with us sharing the program information. Her contact information was there. And any admissions or questions about the programs we offer can be directed to me. Again, if you wanted the slides of this presentation, you can email me at kadamzik@baypath.edu and I will get those out to you. And before we close, I just thought we would go over some simple questions that we typically get from people. If other questions come to your mind while you're hearing these, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, Liana and Kate are amazing at supporting their students with program-related questions, and I'm always here for with admissions type questions for you. Kate, I'm wondering if you could give me just an idea of how many hours per week a student can kind of anticipate spending working on coursework for the program.
Sure. It will depend a little bit on how they decide to progress through the program, whether they're going to take one course at a time or two. Typically, you would probably spend about 10 hours per course in the program. Some weeks that might be fewer hours, some weeks more, because sometimes there might be a big writing assignment and another week there may not be. So it does vary. And in some of as you move into thesis, you could be spending closer to 15 hours a week on your thesis project. And that is, we often recommend folks to just take thesis by itself so they can really put all their energy into their capstone project. I think of it as their capstone of the MFA, but their cornerstone of their writing career, because often, as you saw in the slides, folks work further on their thesis and develop it into a full-length book. So I would say 10 hours per course is probably about right, with variations depending on where you are, what week it is, and whether you're giving feedback or you're presenting your own work, for example.
Great, thank you. And in terms of textbook, do you have a general guideline of what textbooks are going to cost and what people should anticipate in getting for each, a kind of an idea for each class?
Sure. The nice thing about getting your MFA is you don't have to get any big expensive textbooks. A lot of our resources are embedded in the courses. And then when you have books to purchase for a class, they are all general, what we call trade books, which means you can pick them up at your local bookstore or online at bookshop.org very easily and for not a lot of money. So you're not typically spending a lot per class for textbooks at all.
And again, if any other questions come up from Kate and I's discussion here, please don't hesitate, reach out. We're happy to help you through the whole process. We'd like to thank you for being here with us today. And we're going to leave you with learning more at baypath.edu. Our Office of Graduate Admissions can be reached at 565-1700 or again at graduate@baypath.edu. Thank you so much all for checking in with us today, and we hope you have a great afternoon or evening.